Happy Strawberry Moon, folks. If you want to, you can treat this as kind of a meditation. I think we've been kind of inundated, there we go, got the words working, with some really strong energy since eclipse season started. And I think part of what really works for me when we go through these periods, and these periods happen at different times for different people. I was just talking about the Unilom the other day. I don't even know if I'm saying that right. These are pretty popular on Pinterest and whatnot as kind of tattoos for younger ladies nowadays. And you see them drawn up all kinds of different ways, but the thing this represents is kind of our spiritual path and kind of how this is where we start. We dip down into kind of shadow work, darker periods, and then we kind of rise out of that and come up into this higher and higher way of higher and higher, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but a more balanced way of living, and living in connection with source or God or, universal energy, whatever you want to call it. So when I say we're getting inundated with energies, I don't mean everybody. This might not be where you are on your path. It has resonated for me, and certainly I've had some people share that with me through coming into the store and whatnot. But when I hit these periods, what really helps me, and what I think the Strawberry Moon is going to help us all do, is to really anchor these energies. Sometimes it will feel, attack is too strong. Sometimes it won't feel right. You'll get vertigo, you'll get ear ringing, you'll get headaches. Listen, if you've got lots of symptoms, you need to go to the doctor. I'm not discounting Western medicine. I'm not a doctor. But I also think, there's a lot of stuff to this space weather stuff and how it affects us. So if some of these symptoms are resonating with you and you've been to the doctor and there's no medical explanation, perhaps this is it. Yeah, I think that's a fair disclaimer. I'm not telling anyone that I know what's wrong with you. You need to figure out and use your discernment about whether or not it's appropriate to seek medical attention. But if you're feeling these symptoms, and it doesn't seem like there is a medical explanation for them, one of the things that I have found is really using some visualization practices and some breathwork techniques to let the energy flow through you and anchor in the earth below us. Mother Earth is so wonderful at transmuting things that are not for our highest good. The trees, they take poison and turn it into air. I mean, it's not poison exactly, but you shouldn't be breathing carbon monoxide, dioxide. I should know that by now. And the trees just basically take it and turn it into what we need. That's magical. That is absolutely amazing. And that is what Mother Earth does through a variety of processes. And I think during this period where we're being asked to step out of our separation, to stop focusing on what divides us, to stop looking at each other like us versus them. When we are first introduced to energy that demands we recognize we're all connected, and that we are connected to this energy that's coming in. At first, it takes us a while to adjust to that. Most of us do not live our lives from a place of recognizing oneness. Our default setting sometimes is focusing on separation. I am me, you are you. The truth is that love we come from and return to, that unconditional good stuff, is inside of us all. And it comes in different patterns and in different journeys for different people. But ultimately, this physical body is allowing that divine energy within me to experience life. And that's the same for everybody watching this video, for everybody on this earth. That energy is inside of us all. It's what unites us. It's what gives us life. It's our oneness. And when we wake up in the morning and our default setting is oneness, unity, instead of separation, this earth will change. Our reality will change. So we are harnessing these new energies. If this does not resonate with you, that is perfectly fine. You might be on a different journey from me. My reality indicates all of these energies are flooding in to help us create a better world. And part of realizing that is also realizing that all of these energies flooding in are benevolent. It might not feel that way at first because transition can be difficult. But we're trying to upgrade our bodies to be more efficient, less dense, and we're turning on some healing systems too, I think. All of that really at first can be kind of overwhelming. And I think one of the biggest examples of this is our empathy, our ability to empathize with one another. I think as you become more and more in tune with these energies, these new energies, and living kind of in alignment with these new energies, it's not just that you empathize with others, but you actually feel like what they're feeling. You can take on like the emotions that might be, let's say you read a story about a mother losing her children. It's not just something you read, you feel it really intensely. And that feeling part of us gets intensified. And that, for a lot of us who are really good at suppressing emotions, which I have been guilty of in my life, it can be overwhelming when you're trying to learn to feel it and not let it overwhelm you. So there are difficult parts of transition, but change is good. Change is good for us. And in my own journey, I think it's fair to say I have gone through some upheavals in my life in the past year or so. And, I've had people comment like, people have said things like it's courageous or, I admire what you've done. What really happened for me is that I really learned that fear and excitement physically in my body feel pretty much the same. I have the same physical sensations when I'm afraid that I do when I'm excited, like really excited about something. So in all these periods of change, I have really focused on being excited instead of focusing on the fear. I'm not saying the fear's not there, and it's not that I don't acknowledge it. It's just my focus, my attention is on the excitement. So in these periods of transition that can present physical symptoms that are sometimes things that turn on that fear switch, focus on how exciting it would be to live in a world where we all wake up and realize our connection to each other, where our default setting is not what's wrong with that person, but how can I help my brother? How can I help my sister? That is a big shift in our consciousness. And I truly believe it's what helps us not only evolve as human beings on this planet, but also take care of this planet. Realize that we're not separate from this planet, and start to live lives in a way that promote health and vitality for us and for the earth. So all of this is me really rambling about why all this work is important, but I think that gives you some background for, like, you know, why this change, why this transition. When you come into a place where you realize that love we all come from and return to is running through me, it's running through you, it's running through everyone, the shift becomes unity instead of separation. And that's just a different world. It's a better world. So how do we anchor these energies? For me, I like to, and I've stolen this from somebody, you guys, I have no idea where it came from, but I like to think of an architect. Before they build a building, that building is visualized, that the design, the idea comes into their head. Before pen hits paper, it is visualized in their head. Not everybody visualizes things the same way. Some people see colors, some people see in black and white, some people see images, and some people kind of think more in terms of like the words that create the images. We all have brains that function differently. But everything, before it comes into reality, it's mental first. And so when I tell you these visualization exercises help, it's not just some woo thing. People have studied visualizations. There's an actual scientific study out there where they took professional basketball players and they had a control group do basically nothing. And then they had one group physically practice free throws, and they had another group. Everybody basically kept their same routine. The control group kept the same routine throughout. The physically practicing free throw group added in that exercise. They just spent more time physically practicing free throws. The third group, instead of adding anything physical to their routine, added a visualization exercise where they visualized themselves performing the free throw. And the group that improved the best over the course of the study was the visualization group. So a lot of professional athletes will use visualizations when they prepare for a race, for games, for competition. Visualization is not some woo thing. It's not just sitting in a daydream. It is actually envisioning how you want your reality to be. And the more we step into that power inside of us, the more we create this space where we're living from this place of unity. So the visualization that I like to use is imagining either the sun or the moon. Both of them carry, the moon is more emotional. Right now we're in a full moon. So today, if you're going to do this, I would recommend using the moon. Summer solstice just happened. That was a great time to use a visualization where you visualize the sun. The moon typically has more emotional, when you think of like yin and yang, yang is like your active energy. Yin is more a receptive energy. So the moon is more kind of like a yin energy. The sun is definitely more yang and active. Some people will refer to these aspects as masculine and feminine. I hesitate to do that at times because of the social connotations we put on masculinity and femininity. It is also really helpful, I think, in order to get over all that societal rubble, to think of it as like positive and negative charges in a battery or in electricity. So you have this polarity that you can play with, and some of it comes from the moon, some of it comes from the sun. The sun is really powerful to interact with at dawn and at dusk. You can pull in these energies. You get a lot more of like the healing energy from the sun at dawn and dusk. But I like to imagine it raining down, like just like electricity raining down. If you want to visualize it as light, that also works. People will sometimes use the violet light. Violet is kind of known to be this healing energy we can run through our bodies. Other people like to use just a pure white crystalline light. All of this is coming down as a benevolent energy to heal and upgrade and support us in this journey we call life. So I pull it down, I let it wash over me, and I'll use my breath in conjunction with this visualization. And as I breathe in, I imagine that that's pulling more and more of this energy into my body. And as I breathe out, I imagine that I'm releasing anything I no longer need. And I also set the intention that anything I'm releasing rains down on Mother Earth and gets transmuted for our highest good. So it's kind of like a pump. Like imagine your breath being a pump. And as you breathe in, the pump is pulling in more energy. And as you breathe out, you're releasing what you no longer need. So we have these energy points in our body. And there's scientific studies on this too. It's not just, I know lots of people are going to say, Sarah, you're all into the woo and just disregard what I say. That's fine. You're on your own journey. But we have these energy points in our body, our chakra points. And our top chakras, our crown, our third eye, our throat, are really what connect us up to the spiritual side of ourselves. The energetic realm, our higher self, our soul. The lower chakras, so your solar plexus at your kind of your stomach, your abdomen area. That's really kind of your ego, the persona you take during this life. And then your sacral chakra, which is kind of where your reproductive organs are, your lower abdomen. And then your root chakra, which is at the base of your spine. These are what connect us to the here and now, to this physical reality. So with this visualization, you imagine your breath is pulling in all this cosmic benevolent energy. Visualize it as light if you want to. Make it your own. Make it something that resonates with you. But know that as you pull it in, you're pulling it into your crown, into your third eye, into your throat, into your heart, and then down into the lower chakras. Really ground it into this physical reality. So your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, your root chakra. Once you get it into your root chakra, it's really good to keep pulling it on down into the earth star chakra below your feet. So that's your energetic point that ties you to earth, to this reality on earth. And as you let it sink into your earth star chakra, you can let energetic roots grow on down into Mother Earth and just visualize little roots. They can grow through anything because they're energetic. There's no stones, no pipes, no nothing that's going to stop it. So send it down into the earth. Again, still using your breath as this kind of pump that pulls it in from above. And, sometimes when I get down to the earth, instead of using my exhale to release, I'll use my exhale to push it on further down. So inhale, pull from above, exhale, push it down into Mother Earth. But let those energetic roots grow and grow and grow until they get to the center of the earth. And I've had different people do different sort of visualizations of what is at the center of the earth. For me, what kind of resonates to me, what I can link into, is just this big, pale, golden, beautiful, vibrant, vital ball of energy. It's usually just like kind of a big glowing sun in the middle of the earth. And, a lot of people say, ask permission to kind of anchor into that. it always feels welcoming to me. So I don't know if you really need to ask for permission. I think Mother Earth would also like us to upgrade. So as you're anchoring these energies, you can let those roots kind of grow around that energetic ball that's there at the center of the earth. And once you've kind of anchored that energy from above through your body down into the ground and into the center of the earth, I like to think it just spirals back up. And once we're pulling it back up, this, kind of comes up through your feet, up through your root chakra, sacral chakra, solar plexus, I like to anchor both in my heart. Your heart space is kind of that really special space in your body where you have that connection to the highest heights and the lowest lows. So it's what allows your spiritual body and your physical body to both anchor in this reality. So I spend a few minutes kind of bringing the energy down, spend a few minutes anchoring that energy in the earth, and then I spend a few minutes anchoring that combined energy in my heart. All of this might sound like complete hogwash to you, and that's okay if it does. It has really helped me to not get stuck with kind of stagnant energy and feel like I'm battling it out. I don't have the vocabulary to describe this, you guys, but I feel like once you've got this flow and once you're anchored in to this new energetic grid that we're building here on the earth, these really intense energetic periods that we go through aren't quite as intense anymore. I think that's the best way I know how to say it. I am very hopeful about this path that we are on. I am in no way denying that there are still things that we probably don't like to see in our world. But I think a lot of times we feel obligated to focus on the bad so that we can stand witness to it and not deny it, I guess. And I think there is value to shifting your focus to the world you want to live in instead of focusing on what you don't want to see. And I have had the worst time with this because it feels like burying your head in the sand. It feels like ignoring stuff that's very important. But in this new, how do we say this? There's a word I'm looking for that I can't find. Paradigm. In this new paradigm, we are stepping into our power to connect with the power of creation. That love that I talk about, that we all come from and return to, a component of that is this really strong creation energy. We are in an ever-expanding universe. If you get into astrophysics at all, it's just like the universe is expanding and expanding and expanding. And that expansion, to a certain extent, can be seen in our own lives. And so as we incorporate this new energy and as we let it live through us, it's not burying your head in the sand to focus on what you want to create instead of what you don't want to see. It is powerful and divine. And realizing your connection to that. Let's try it this way. We all have these smartphones, right? And, we can tell it to do things and program it to do things. If the divine creator, the great spirit, lives within us, then we are a part of it. And our power, our personal divine power, is to get to decide how we're going to program this reality. The universe is one big smartphone, and we are the little bits of it that get to give it physicality. Oh, there's probably a better way to describe that, but that's what I've been playing with lately. So this visualization exercise allows us to take these really juicy, benevolent bits of goodness we are getting and incorporate that into our everyday lives. I think a lot of times, for me, it is really easy to connect with the idea of unity consciousness as an idea, like on an intellectual level. But I think what's really important to our lives and to our evolution is not just understanding it from an intellectual perspective, but letting it integrate into our everyday lives, letting it be the knowledge that informs our action. It's one thing to say we're all one. It's another thing to live that life. And I think we all are, to a certain extent, open to the idea that there is this God force inside of us. It's in a lot of the major religions out there. In Christianity, it's the Holy Spirit. It's the God inside. And when we stop living from a place of separation and start living from a place of unity, ooh, I get cold chills just thinking about it. So I hope this helps you guys, and I hope you really kind of enjoy some of this with this. This moon feels really positive. Like, we've gone through a lot of transitions, and this is us having a little breather of positivity to really ground in this new vibrant energy. Yeah. Wow. That was like a 30-minute rant. I hope somebody gets something useful out of that. Namaste. I love you guys. Hope you have a great day.